On July 13, 2024, bullets flew. Donald Trump was nearly assassinated on stage, but what saved him wasn't luck. It was a multi-million-dollar security machine most people can't even imagine. From $2.5 million armored limos to surveillance grids that rival spy agencies, this is next-level protection. Stay until the end, because we'll reveal the one ultra-secret tactic that has never been shown on camera until now. The Butler Rally, when everything almost went wrong. It was a bright July afternoon in Butler, Pennsylvania. The flags were waving, the chants were loud, and Donald Trump stood center stage, surrounded by thousands of supporters. No one could have predicted that what followed would instantly become one of the most analyzed moments in modern political history. What appeared to be a routine campaign event shifted in seconds. A sudden disruption in the crowd. Urgency erupted. Within moments, Trump's security team sprang into action. The president was shielded, lowered behind cover, and swiftly moved out of sight. No hesitation, no confusion, just precision. What the world witnessed wasn't chaos. It was the activation of one of the most expensive and advanced presidential protection systems in existence. The Beast, Trump's heavily armored Cadillac limousine, reportedly valued around $2.5 million, was already in position. Reinforced with bullet-resistant plating, sealed against chemical threats, and equipped with encrypted communications, it became the extraction point in less than 2 minutes. As captured was an unseen ballet of coordination. Counter-surveillance units were already positioned across surrounding rooftops. Recon drones quietly monitored crowd dynamics from above. And within the command center, situated just blocks away, real-time heat-mapped data from perimeter scanning tech helped assess the environment down to every moving detail. Every member of the security detail had trained for this. Their formation? Not random. Their movements? Rehearsed. Their timing? Measured in milliseconds. What could have ended in catastrophe instead became a masterclass in modern security protocol. Shortly after, a single photo released by Trump, fist raised, slight injury visible, flooded the internet. Was it a statement, a symbol, or simply a calculated image that reignited headlines across the globe? Whether supportive or critical, the reaction was unanimous. This moment mattered. But as the dust settled, bigger questions remained. How was such proximity possible in the first place? What layers of defense worked and which might need re-evaluation? Experts called it both a triumph and a wake-up call, not just for the agencies involved, but for the nation watching. Because in today's climate, presidential protection isn't just about walls, vests, or armored cars. It's about real-time data, strategic foresight, and a budget that rivals that of a small country. If you think survival is about luck, comment unbreakable and let us know how you think this day rewrote political history. The cost of protection. Who pays for Trump's safety? Protecting a president isn't just a matter of logistics, it's a financial operation that rivals the budget of small governments. And when it comes to Donald Trump, the price tag climbs even higher, not just in scale, but in controversy. According to publicly available records, nearly $2 million from US taxpayers was spent directly at properties owned by Trump himself. That includes Mar-a-Lago, Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, and several other resorts in his real estate empire. Every visit, every extended stay, every weekend retreat came with Secret Service personnel, each requiring lodging, meals, and access. And where did the money go? Straight back into the cash flow of the Trump organization. No other president in modern history created a scenario quite like this. Barack Obama spent most of his post-presidency in a private DC residence and rarely billed the federal government for overlapping security logistics. George W. Bush returned to his ranch in Texas, where costs remained consistent and predictable. But with Trump, the boundaries between public service and private enterprise blur, creating a situation where federal security budgets double as revenue streams for properties bearing his name. To be clear, it's not illegal. Presidents are entitled to lifetime protection. But what makes this arrangement so unique and so debated is the optics. Should a commander-in-chief be in a position where taxpayer money cycles through government channels and lands in his own company's account ledger? And that's just the base layer. Consider the logistical extras: road closures that paralyze local towns, air traffic restrictions affecting regional airports, and additional police presence paid by local governments. These ripple effects drive the real cost far beyond that initial $2 million figure. Critics argue this model turns security into a business model. Supporters counter that Trump simply prefers his own properties and shouldn't be punished for sticking to familiar territory. But the numbers don't lie. A single weekend at Mar-a-Lago with full protective detail can cost upwards of $300,000, with lodging alone billed at market rates set by Trump's own management. It all adds up to a question no spreadsheet can answer. Where should the line be drawn between necessary protection and personal profit? The Beast, Marine One and Air Force One, defense on wheels, water and air. When Donald Trump moves, it's not just transportation. It's full-scale defense on the move. His travel entourage includes some of the most expensive and secure vehicles ever built, each engineered for a singular purpose: to keep power protected at all costs. Let's start on the ground with the Beast. Valued at $2.5 million, this custom-built Cadillac isn't just a car. It's a bunker on wheels. Reinforced with 8-inch thick armor plating, run-flung tires and hermetically sealed doors, it's designed to withstand biological, chemical and ballistic attacks. Inside, there's an oxygen supply, bags of the president's blood type, and satellite communication that connects directly to the Pentagon. It doesn't just transport, it commands, and every time it rolls through a city, it becomes a symbol of controlled dominance. But when ground isn't safe or fast enough, Marine One takes over. What looks like a standard helicopter is in fact a fleet of identical decoys, flying simultaneously, so no one ever knows which aircraft carries the real target. Equipped with infrared countermeasures, noise-cancelling rotors, and encrypted communications, Marine One operates like a whisper in the sky. Even its flight path is kept under tight secrecy until the final moment. The cost? Over $30 million per aircraft. But when you're moving a figure with global impact, precision like this isn't optional, it's expected. Then comes Air Force One, arguably the most iconic aircraft in the world. Trump's version, a modified Boeing 747, carries an estimated price tag of $660 million, and every dollar is justified. The interiors are a fusion of luxury and command functionality. Private suites, a secure conference room, medical facilities, and advanced radar jamming technology. The jet can refuel mid-air, making it capable of staying airborne indefinitely. Trump once proposed redesigning the aircraft's livery to better reflect American strength. A symbolic move underscoring how the plane isn't just a ride, it's a statement. Every one of these machines operates as more than a vehicle. Together, they represent a multi-morning security ecosystem built for rapid response, survival, and psychological warfare. Whether it's the silent glide of Marine One over Washington or the Beast cutting through motorcade routes in Manhattan, each movement is meticulously choreographed. And while most never get close enough to see these vehicles in action, what happens inside them might just be shaping national decisions. Human shielding and tactical mastery, the Secret Service arsenal. When Donald Trump steps onto a stage or exits a motorcade, there's one rule: he's never alone. And not just because of the cameras. Shadowing him at every second is a human wall of defense, trained not just to observe, but to react with lethal precision in under 3 seconds. Well, this isn't your average security detail. The Secret Service agents assigned to Trump are elite operatives, most of whom underwent training that rivals Delta Force and Navy SEAL protocols. They're handpicked from the Presidential Protective Division and drilled with live-fire simulations, emergency medical procedures, and counter-assault tactics that would intimidate most combat veterans. One of their most chillingly effective strategies? Human shielding. In the event of a threat, agents don't duck, they move toward danger. Their bodies form a moving barricade, arms locked around the president, ready to absorb impact and extract him to safety. And they can execute this formation in less than 2.8 seconds, even under chaos. That margin of time, it's the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. But the protection extends far beyond the physical. Tactical driving is another critical component. Trump's motorcade is piloted by agents trained in evasive driving techniques, costing over $200,000 per agent to master. These include reverse 180, S, J-turns, and rapid extraction maneuvers, all performed in heavy, armored vehicles like the Beast. Then there's the advance team, agents who arrive days, sometimes weeks before Trump steps foot in a location. They scan rooftops, test food, secure water sources, and even X-ray hotel furniture. Every exit is mapped, every shadow calculated. The goal is zero surprises, and it comes with a price. Estimates put Secret Service advance operations at over $1 million per major event, particularly those held at high-risk venues or Trump-owned resorts. So when people say Trump travels with an entourage, what they don't see is the invisible choreography happening at all times. These agents aren't bodyguards. They're strategists, medics, marksmen, and human shields wrapped into one sharp-suited package. Comment unbelievable precision if you never realized how intense presidential protection truly is. Let's see how many of you would trust your life to someone trained to step in front of a bullet. Surveillance grid, Trump's eyes everywhere. Donald Trump doesn't just walk into a room, he enters a pre-scanned, fully mapped, real-time monitored combat zone. While the cameras flash and the crowd cheers, what you don't see is the surveillance net silently humming beneath it all. It begins with the eye in the sky, a mobile network of surveillance drones, long-range cameras, and elevated observation posts positioned hours before his arrival. In every corner of the venue, facial recognition algorithms silently parse faces, match heat signatures, and flag anomalies. But the real secret? Many of those agents you assume are watching the crowd aren't looking with their eyes. They're looking with sunglasses embedded with behavior recognition tech, capable of detecting micro-movements like hand tension or gaze aversion that could signal a threat. This isn't science fiction, it's real. Cutting-edge gear built by private defense contractors and federal labs, rumored to cost upward of $5 million per deployment when factoring in hardware, encryption, and personnel. And that's before we get to the human layer. Behind the scenes, Trump's team operates what can only be described as a mobile NSA. At every hotel, resort, or golf course he visits, be it Mar-a-Lago, Trump National Doral, or his Bedminster estate, an entire security detail is tasked with one job: control the perimeter and monitor every signal. This includes jamming unregistered drones, scanning airspace, intercepting suspicious wireless activity, and even employing electromagnetic field sensors to detect unauthorized surveillance. Then there's the invisible guardians, teams working 24/7 on what seems mundane but is anything but. Every piece of mail, parcel, room service dish, or catering tray is intercepted, examined, and x-rayed. Food tasters rotate shifts. A team dubbed the Quiet Crew specializes in bag inspections and background vetting, often running checks on waitstaff and drivers at every event. Even valet keys are scanned for embedded tracking devices. And the reach of this system doesn't stop at Trump's doorstep. During public appearances, nearby businesses, rooftops, parking garages, even sewer access are secured, mapped, and sometimes sealed. Entire traffic grids can be modified or blacked out within a 3-mile radius, often causing local governments to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per visit in coordination and overtime costs. This level of control isn't paranoia, it's strategy. For a man who built his empire on branding and dominance, surveillance isn't just protection, it's power, exercised with quiet, relentless precision. Family in the crosshairs, collateral consequences. When security becomes a full-time lifestyle, it doesn't just guard, it intrudes. For Melania Trump and Barron, life under constant surveillance didn't end when they left the White House. It simply evolved into something more invisible, more controlling, and in some ways, even more isolating. At Mar-a-Lago, what once served as a luxury resort transformed into a living security perimeter, where casual beach strolls required days of clearance and drone restrictions were enforced by no-fly zones monitored by military-grade radar. Residents of Palm Beach suddenly found their weekend errands interrupted by motorcade lockdowns and Secret Service cordons, costing the county over $3.4 million in security coordination during peak seasons. Inside the estate, Barron's teenage years unfolded within a cloaked world. His commute to Oxbridge Academy, a school known for its $35,000 a year tuition and 100% college acceptance rate, required decoy vehicles, route changes, and vehicle sweeps. Even his soccer games became logistical operations, with agents blending into the stands, scanning crowds, and setting up evacuation points in case of disruption. Melania, often described as the most private First Lady since Jackie Kennedy, bore the weight of that privacy with tension. Every restaurant reservation meant full kitchen inspections. Every shopping trip, background checks on retail staff. Her Hermes Birkin bags were no longer symbols of elite taste. They became mobile markers tracked by dozens of eyes in earpieces. Even Trump Organization employees were affected. Housekeepers at Trump Tower underwent federal vetting. Caddies at Trump National Golf Club were briefed by security agents before every game. Valets at events like the LIV Golf Invitational, where Trump regularly appeared, had their phones temporarily confiscated. Working in the orbit of a high-profile individual became more than a job. It became a daily negotiation with surveillance. But the collateral impact didn't stop at the inner circle. Local airports near his properties faced airspace restrictions that grounded small businesses. Homeowners near his Bedminster estate reported delays getting emergency services. One New Jersey mayor referred to it as a soft lockdown of the town. The invisible cost of protecting Trump's brand and body is felt in homes, schools, restaurants, and hospitals. The optics may glitter, but behind the scenes lies a network of control that quietly reshapes every environment he enters. For those close to him, safety didn't come with freedom. It came with shadows. Private security and federal agencies, layers within layers. Beneath the surface of Donald Trump's daily life lies a security infrastructure that rivals most heads of state. And not just in scale, but in complexity. What the public sees is only the polished surface, suited agents, dark SUVs, and helicopters hovering above Mar-a-Lago. But behind the scenes is a web of interagency coordination so dense it borders on military grade. Trump doesn't rely on just one layer of protection. He operates within a multi-ringed fortress involving the US Secret Service, FBI, CIA, and his private security force, each with its own jurisdiction, technology, and playbook. While the Secret Service handles physical shielding, route sweeps, and event lockdowns, the FBI integrates real-time intelligence on domestic threats, and the CIA advises on global signals, especially when Trump travels internationally or meets high-profile foreign investors. Then there's the digital battlefield, a quiet war zone in itself. Trump's communications, both personal and professional, are secured through hardened encrypted channels, shielded against cyber espionage attempts that spike every time he makes a public appearance. The need for such protection stems not only from his presidency, but from his entanglement with billion-dollar real estate, media assets, and political leverage, assets that make him both a target and a symbol. His private security team, many of whom have backgrounds in Israeli intelligence and British SAS, add another dimension: off-the-grid capabilities. They're not bound by the same bureaucratic chains and can adapt swiftly, trailing suspicious persons, handling logistics between Trump Tower, Mar-a-Lago, and Bedminster, and discreetly neutralizing threats before they reach federal radars. Even his real estate movements require choreography. A single weekend at his $250 million Palm Beach compound activates dozens of interagency alerts, from drone surveillance to airspace rerouting. Each movement, from an elevator ride at Trump Tower to a landing at Newark Airport, is calculated, cleared, and cloaked. This is not just personal protection, it's geopolitical theater, played out in silence, a choreography of power, paranoia, and precision. Presidential protection, a system always evolving. Presidential security in America isn't static. It evolves with every threat, every mistake, every bullet dodged. When compared to the Reagan or Nixon eras, today's protection looks like science fiction. But the core principle hasn't changed. Anticipate everything, trust nothing. Donald Trump's security network operates on a scale unmatched by any previous president. It's not just the armored limousines or the $100 million Boeing 757, it's the constant recalibration of protocols based on lessons etched in blood and headlines. After the attempt at the Butler rally in 2024, threat assessment algorithms were rewritten within 48 hours. Now, facial recognition scans begin blocks away from his motorcade, blending AI surveillance with old-school counterintelligence. Trump's approach embraces both spectacle and secrecy. While the public sees heavily guarded entrances at Mar-a-Lago or Trump Tower, what they don't see is the digital firewall. Firewalled communications, mobile signal scramblers, even thermal scanners buried in the landscaping. Every inch is designed to deter, detect, and deflect. But this level of protection comes with a staggering cost. With over $2 million in Secret Service spending at Trump-branded properties alone, critics call it excessive. Supporters argue it's essential. Either way, it reflects how modern protection isn't just a security issue, it's a political statement. From hand-to-hand combat training to encrypted drones shadowing every outdoor event, Trump's shield is constantly evolving and constantly under pressure. In this high-stakes game, there's no such thing as too much security. Comment, it's not paranoia if it's protocol, if you think this level of protection is justified in today's world. Donald Trump's security isn't just protection, it's a billion-dollar fortress of power, technology, and strategy. From decoy helicopters to tactical driving teams, this operation is built to survive anything. But behind every layer of bulletproof glass is a deeper story of fear, control, and legacy. Whether you admire it or question it, one thing is clear. Presidential safety has never looked like this before. If this blew your mind, hit like, smash that subscribe button, and comment Fortress if you watch till the end.